Hey guys, welcome back to Fully Defined. This is the Build and Learn series where LEGO builds and SolidWorks skills come together. In this lesson, we're building one very important part. That is the modified 2x2 plate with vents. This part starts from an existing 2x2 plate configuration, but then we build it up to add the vents on the sides of the part using multiple cut extrudes, extruded thins, and finally a surface cut mirror to create this symmetrical part. After that, we then have a take a look at our assembly. We can see how it's starting to get quite messy with all the parts without any sub-assemblies or organization. So I take you through my process to sort out the assembly, make it organized and easy to view, all the different parts in their steps. Let's get into it. Now, where do we have our plates? We have, right down the bottom here, our plate 2x. For this, we will go 2x2 defaults, and then we're going to save that as a plate modified 2x2 with vents. All right. So the modifications we're looking at, it's really just sort of two extruded sections either side, which are symmetrical. So we do one side, and then it's got basically an angle with a couple of cuts in the top and the bottom, but no other detail apart from a couple of ribs, which we may as well put in. So let's look from the front. Let's start a sketch and let's go straight into doing the shape that we've got here. And it does extend the size of the part slightly. It goes out to 17 millimeters on the outside. So it comes out a little bit more before going up. The top face is actually slightly curved before coming down on a straight angle. Another straight angle here, not quite perpendicular, so it won't drop on that line, and then another line to the bottom. Yeah, the bottom that is standard 15.8. Yeah, goes to there like so. Okay, so this was an extra 0.6. The height of the part is 9.6, and at this point we can mirror the whole thing. Just to use the dimensions. Now, if we want to go from outside to outside like this, we can use that little trick, measure that with our calipers, and then put a dimension in. This height here, you're going to guess it's pretty low, 0.4. Width to that point, 5.4. And we can give it a radius, that's 16. And the height of that section, that's 6 millimeters. All right, it's time to get fully defined with that sketch. Awesome. And then here, these angles, that's much less an angle. That'd be 30. And let's just give it a dimension here of 2. All right, so that's our shape. And let's extrude that all the way over to the other side. Now we can do some cutouts. So from our top view, this one has a wall thickness each side at 1.2 millimeter. We can select that face and use that for offset, but it's just on this outside edge where it's a little bit less. It's only one on this face. So you can actually delete that relation, drag this, and put a separate dimension in. Now, it's a bit hard to dimension this detail. What we'll do is an extrude cut that goes through all is offset, let's say 8 millimeters. Okay, that looks pretty good. But we've neglected the ribs that are actually on the top surface. So there's a little detail here, which we'll need to do with a separate cut. We can do it here. So top plane, I'm going to do a rectangle that goes from here to here, and then move it out. And I'm going to extrude an extrude cut, which is offset 10 millimeters to start, and then it's going offset from this surface hole by 0.2 millimeter. Now, might not want to work. Up to surface wants to work. Offset from surface, translate surface, and okay. And it's going to cut it down. What we struggle with here is that we need it to be a little bit bigger once again. So this edge here, I'll actually just bring that out. And you can see there we've dropped down that edge. That works really well because now we can put our ribs in and go up to the original surface. Once ribs are 0.8. So if I show you how this works, we're going to get 3 lines and go like this. You do a linear pattern. So 3 of them, just give them a rough dimension. Drop the middle one onto the midpoint. Put a dimension between 2 of the other ones. Yeah, look, this will work. It's not going to be perfect though, but I don't think they are actually perfect. I think some of these look smaller than the others. So let's leave it 3.2. Oh, than that. This will be an extrude mid-plane 0.8 millimeter. We're going up to surface. There we go. Now we need to drop this cut a little bit, and we want to delete these faces so they're smooth on the outside. Looks perfect. That's looking excellent there. Let's do the same thing on the bottom. On the bottom, we actually have some more walls done. This one has these walls matching up and comes up to this face here. And there's extruded cut. Going to say offset from this surface, 1.6. So cut away on the inside face. And then there's a couple of, this goes a bit deeper. And we have some cuts that match those on the top that come down underneath. So what we can do here is do a sketch on this face, convert those edges, just do an extrude cut, which is offset from this surface 1.6. It's maintaining that wall thickness. See how that looks? Not bad, not great. Needs to go a bit more to the outside. We could actually do that here. So we can convert those, extrude these ones, offset to this face, and even reduce that number. There you go. And that detail's looking pretty good. How does it match against the actual 3D view? Yeah, you can see these little ribs like cross over the top. So we just need to fix that detail. That's the inside bits that need to drop. So if I show you here, what we'll do is something like this. And I'm doing 4 of them. One there, one, and the way to there. Just using geometry to save myself time in doing dimensions. 0.3 down. Just going straight down blind. There we go. You've got that little raised detail on both sides. Okay, so everything that we've just created, now we want to mirror it. Let's see if we can just do it. A very quick mirror feature into a couple of issues where it doesn't want to work for us, but I have a quick solution. Before we do that, I'm going to put these tiny ribs in on the bottom where those are going to be equal. These ribs are going to be 0.5. I'm going to extrude. These are going to be mid-plane, 0.8. And up to surface. And I'm going to mirror that around this. So I've got them on this half. And what I'm going to do to duplicate everything to the other half, I'm going to use the right plane, do a cut with surface, and then I'm going to use a mirror for the entire body. And there's my duplicate. There's my full mirror, and there's my finished part. Save and insert. This part's going to look pretty cool. It is a light gray part, and it sits on top of these pieces. Cool, looking good, and being light grey. Copy this one. Nice. Hey guys, now while we're out here, our assembly is starting to get quite cluttered. We have, we'll say, about 40 parts, excluding the mirrored components. There's quite a lot to just see visually, and I'd always recommend keeping your assemblies clean so that they're more usable. You know, when you want to, let's say, isolate certain elements or hide or look or do interference detections or assembly evaluations, it's good just to know what's what, where you can find it. We haven't done any sub-assemblies at the moment in this. I'm not sure if we will. We might later. But we can at least for now put some things in folders. And so what I'm going to do is, referencing the assembly instructions, I'm going to place parts in folders in groups of 10 instructions. So what that means is any part that I've got here in the first 10 instructions, I'm going to put it in a folder 1 to 10, and then we'll have 11 to 20 and so on. Actually, I might do 0 to 9, then 10 to 19. Either way, we've got 69, so that'd give us 9 or 7 groups if we do it that way. So, yeah, let's go about that. 1 to 9, 10 to 19, to just clean things up. So I'm just going to set this off to the side while I go through and line everything up to match. Now, when I do this, I'm going to suppress the mirror components. I'm not going to include them at this stage, okay, because they are really just duplicates. They're always in the same step, nearly always in the same step. So suppress those, and then I'm just suppressing parts from the bottom up till I can find when we get to step 10. And step 10 is after this one. So that part there is in. We also have this part in, and we also have this part in. So that's step 10. I'm actually going to go one back from that to step 9. That's right. And that's what I was going to do. So I'll just suppress those. So step 9 does have this little green one in as well. Okay, so this here would be steps 1 to 9. Cool. Now we're done there. Let's go into our instructions, and I'm going to go up to and find where number 19 is. Now, number 19 is a slope. Looks like this one here, 45. Yep. So everything between there and here would be under steps 10 to 19. Okay. And then we get to step 29. Step 29 is up to this one with the red part with the bar arm up. So I'm going to select those, place in a folder, steps 20 to 29. And then these ones, the steps 30 to 39. So unsuppress those, unsuppress our mirror component. So I think we'll just leave our mirror component as is. There's no need to change that, but this makes it very easy to just identify, okay, everything that's in step 20 to 29, 10 to 19, 1 to 9 on the bottom. Later, when we do some more visualization work, some cool assembly views, some renderings, I think this will really help bring things together. So, hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end. Really appreciate that. This has been the LEGO Build and Learn series by Fully Defined. If the next video has been released, it'll be on the top link to your right. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and leave a comment below with what you'd like to see next. Your feedback is what motivates me to provide more content. See you in the next one.